Hey guys, Matt Sardo here, Monkeys Fighting Robots in the Monkeys Fighting Robots studio. We have a small film that we need to talk about. We need to talk about Thor Ragnarok. What? This is a colorful explosion of comic book goodness. Taika Waititi, the director, the filmmaker, the genius, the improv master, he throws so many jokes at this film that I am just stunned about how many jokes are in this film. And we talked to Karl Urban earlier this week, and he said that there's probably enough footage for a second Ragnarok film a la Anchorman 2, where they made two different versions of it. That would be pretty amazing if they just released another cut of Thor and it's just more jokes and more craziness, because I thought about this for a little bit. I was like, can a movie be too funny? Can it be too funny? And I was like, I laughed at every joke. So how could it be too funny? Like, there was never a point in time where I was like, I'm done with that joke. You know, like sometimes you watch like The Family Guy and you're like, really? We're beating that one to death. But all the jokes just kept being original and new and just kept going and going. And I was like, whoa! I was like, I laughed at everything. So I don't think it could be too funny. I would have just dialed back the jokes maybe in the third act to give that weight. Some weight, a little bit more weight, so it's serious, and you don't want to be too jokey when people are getting impaled left and right. This is going to be a spoiler type review kind of thing going on here, so if you haven't seen the film yet, which you probably haven't, I'd probably turn off now and come back later, but I'm going to try to keep all the big spoilers out of it, so that you can watch it, but I'm not saying that I might not slip up and be like, oh my god, Galactus shows up. And Galactus doesn't show up. That just, but that would be really awesome if he did. I feel like we got pretty close to that happening in this film. The first act is basically the first two movies, and it's kind of like, okay, we respect what you guys did in the first two movies. Let's acknowledge that and get what's going, and then it's done, and then you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? And then they go to Sakaar, and this is what you've been waiting for. This is what all the trailers have been hyping up for. In the battle between Thor and Hulk is everything that you would expect and more. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best comic book moment ever on screen. It probably is. It probably is the best comic book moment on screen of like just a battle royal of just umpteenth proportion of craziness. Like, you squeal a lot in this film as a nerd. Like, I was squealing a lot. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh man, but the stuff on Sakaar is just perfect. They've taken some of the things from Guardians of the Galaxy, the color palette and what's been going on there, and they just turn it up a notch, and they're like, bam. Everything I feel like is turned up a notch in this film. It's weird. It's the most fun I've had since seeing the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And there's been some good movies that have come out since then. There's been another Guardians of the Galaxy. But since this film, is on Earth, and then Sakaar, and then it goes to Asgard, you definitely have a nice pacing. Because I do believe that the first Guardians of the Galaxy film is the most well-paced film I've ever, witnessed. Like, you can just watch it, and it's just, 10 minutes in, it's like, oh, you're going to change scene. Another 10 minutes, boom, boom, boom. And you're just, running the whole time. What Thor Ragnarok did really well is it gave me my opening act that I've always wanted in a superhero film. I think every superhero film should steal from James Bond films and have an epic chase battle of some B-lister or C-list villain, and just set up and get you juices flowing, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then that's exactly what they did. Thor fights Surtur right off the bat, and you're like, oh my god, this is awesome. Just big battles of craziness, and you're like, whew, what's gonna happen now? And then they go back to Asgard for a little bit, and there's some cameos in there of craziness that I was just like, oh my god, this is where this movie's gonna go. I was like, I like winced, and then I was like, all right, I relaxed and let's go with it and just see what happens. And I was really glad that I just went with this film because this film is really awesome. I really enjoyed it immensely. Like it's one of those films you're like, ah. But the only downside is that Act 2 is so amazing that you're ratcheted so high after the Hulk Thor battle that it's hard to like get into the finale battle. Like the movie goes like this. It goes like this, and then it comes down, and then it goes up again, but not as high as the first one, and then it goes from there. This film does reboot the Thor universe, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this universe. Spoiler, stop listening right now. Spoiler, stop listening right now. And I'm going to tell you, spoiler, stop listening right now. We all see from the trailers that Hela breaks Thor's hammer. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen from there? But that hammer gets stuck on Earth. And the whole movie happens, and they never reference that hammer again. Like, Mjolnir is, like, unreferenced. Like, just unreferenced completely after they break it. That's part of the reboot of, like, I guess they just wanted to take the hammer out of him to get that, crutch of using a hammer away from him. But the hammer is now on Earth. And that leaves the door open for a Jane Foster to stumble upon that hammer all broken up and pick it up. And, I mean, I know this doesn't really need to, I don't know, there aren't little elves or trolls or orcs that are, like, smiting this back together, but there's a lot of magic. So she could pick that hammer up, it could reconstitute into Mjolnir, and she could become the female Thor. That's just, they left the door open for that. And that's what I wanted to acknowledge, is that the door is open for that to happen. Before I forget, there are 2 post-credit scenes. One post-credit scene sets up Avengers Infinity War in an epic way. You're like, oh, shit. And then the second one at the end of the film is just super fun, a lot of fun, and it just kind of puts closure on the Sakaar storyline. Tess Thompson as Valkyrie, oh my god. I've been, like, jonesing for a drunk Tony Stark, but you can give me a drunk Valkyrie any day of the week, and it's 1,000 times better than Tony Stark. Like, she was chugging, she was fighting, she was witty. Oh man, it was good stuff. It was like really good, amazing stuff. Kate Blanchett as Hela, all right. Thought she was good, serviceable. There's still kind of like I want to say there's a villain problem because like she really messed up a lot of stuff. But because she had the same colors, like it's like Loki but more evil. And Tom Hiddleston, he's really good. Loki was really solid in this film, and the brother journey went very well. Idris Elba in the third act, he gets his due, and I can see where everybody's like, yay, Idris Elba! Bringing the seriousness of Hemsworth there. What else happened in this film that was quite amazing? Mark Ruffalo, Janine's older brother, when he comes out as Hulk, and he is like disheveled Bruce Banner is freaking hilarious. It is the most fun I've seen the character, and just the conversations and the wit and what Waititi did for this film is brilliant. Like, it's Jack Kirby would be proud of the stuff going on in Sakaar. Surtur looked amazing. And the Thor Ragnarok name actually like stood for something. It wasn't just a generic name of like what we're gonna use for a sequel. Like, this is freaking Ragnarok, guys. Like, Ragnarok is freaking happening. And it'll be interesting what they do with another Thor film, if they make another Thor film, or what happens after the 2 Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2, or whatever they're going to name the third one. This movie definitely needs to be seen in IMAX. Go see it in IMAX. It is well worth seeing it in IMAX. The Planet Hulk stuff, you take a little bit from the Planet Hulk universe, and they made this Grandmaster universe with Jeff Goldblum, and Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum. He's like, oh, we got to do what we got to do, and we're going to battle, and it's going to be Jeff Goldblum, and that was really good. I gave this like a 4.3 out of 5 stars. Like, the directing is really solid. The acting, I was surprised on everybody. Chris Hemsworth is just throwing lines. Mark Ruffalo's throwing lines. Like Loki, the banter back and forth. So I thought the acting and all that was really good. Everything else, the story is solid. The cinematography is solid. A lot of great moments. Like I said, this is the most fun I've had watching a film from the MCU in a long time, since Guardians of the Galaxy. I had the first Iron Man ranked number 1. I have Guardians of the Galaxy ranked number 2. I have Captain America Winter Soldier ranked number 3. And Thor Ragnarok is a solid 4 as my top 4 MCU films. Guys, I'm Matt Sardo. If you have any questions or comments about Thor Ragnarok, shoot me a message, whether in the comment section below on Facebook or YouTube, or shoot me a message on Twitter at monkeys_robots or at Matthew Sardo. Check out Monkeys Fighting Robots for my Karl Urban interview. I'm so glad that I can bring this to you. So if you like what we're doing, just hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube. There's so many different social media craziness things that we need to do now and talk about. Man, that was like 2 minutes of just social media conversation. But I love talking to you. I'm going to continue talking to you. I'm Matt Sardo, and this is Monkeys Fighting Robots.